Hello, hello. Welcome everyone. I hope y'all can hear me. I hope y'all can see me. Today we'll have quite a bit of nice, interesting topics that we'll discuss. So gather around, start listening, and welcome Colstack's stream in which we'll be talking about AI related stuff. And hello to you as well, Kwan. I'm gonna assume that's the correct way to read. Yeah, I can read. And today is quite an interesting topic because we covered Eve some time ago, but we covered it very roughly. We tried to add some local models to that, see how it works. But today I have a guest that managed to take Eve to a little bit of higher level, not a little bit, just a higher level than what we did. So today we will be creating like a full-blown working agent connected to Slack, being able to update you with actual news and actual stuff. So yeah, exciting things are about to happen on this stream. And yep, looks like that's a Kwan. Yeah, so great. But thankful. Oh, and Ryan is here. Great to see you. Happy to have you here. So thankfully for y'all, I won't be alone on the stream because this would turn into side quest generations and then constant feedback loop and just talking. So today I have a special guest. Let me check if I can add him to the stage. Are you ready to be added to the stage? I'm waiting for thumbs up, and I have a nod that's as good as thumbs up. So say hello, everyone, to Hur.
Hi everyone.
Hur, great to have you. We like to be fully transparent. Today's topic was supposed to be a little bit different, but Hur is still cooking some nice, crazy things for y'all, and we'll talk about it in near future, but not today. Today we managed to figure out the nice topic. So before we jump into that, let's just have a small conversation. But first, Hur, could you please introduce yourself a bit to everyone?
Yeah, my name is Her. I'm a software engineer working at Colstack for nearly 4 years now, and my main focus of work are performance optimizations, brownfield migrations, building with migration agents. A few talks that we already covered in Malaysia and a few webinar, if I recall correctly. And I guess this is just like one part of it. So yeah.
Nice. So today's topic, you managed to create a similar project, but to a much like more advanced version, right? So today we'll be setting up something that you can actually go step by step with us, and by the end of the stream, you will have a working prototype, I guess we can call it. Hur, you prepared a small video. This will show what will be the result, right? Like the final result, what we're aiming for. So let me first share the screen. So this is a video. I
Okay.
have no idea how the video is being rendered actually on the stream. Okay, so I'm playing it. And the idea is that we'll have a bot that will actually, Hur, I will let you explain what's the
Thanks.
goal.
Okay, so let's start. So we are showing you here a Slack bot which is currently active in Callstack's internal channels that we use to stay up to date. The idea was simple: to have something or some kind of agent that just keeps us up to date with what's happening in our favorite repositories. So we cover six for now, and it filters out. Okay, so let's just go through it. So we get a card. So we call them a card in Slack terminologies, and then under a thread. So this is a cron job that fires daily at around 9 or 10 Central Eastern Time or Central European Time. And then we get 6 individual message per thread. So like for each repository, so like React Native, Expo, and Metro Hermes, and there was a request internally for discussions and proposals. So we are up to date of what new RFCs have been proposed to community. For example, this one AGP v9, so Android Griddle plugin v9. So there was a new activity on it. The PR is actually open for like a few 1 or 2 months maybe. So that's the whole idea. So we will get to it, how we filter the unuseful or like useless comments. By useless I mean ci or test or chore kind of comments that we are not interested in. We are interested in like a new api, a behavior fix, so that we can stay up to date. This is our the target product that we are gonna create today, if we can, but we will divide it in two parts. First, we will achieve the same functionality with a web interface, right? Once we, let's say, perfect it, that is in a working shape, then we will go to a Slack integration in a demo workspace that we have created.
Okay. So we will actually cover, I think, everything that we didn't cover last time. Because last time we were focused on setting up like skills, the agent, connecting some actual LLM to the agent, working with tool calls, and setting up like the basics so we can talk via terminal or like CLI. And today we'll focus more on actual deployment, scheduling, connecting it to external data sources, and then connecting it to some nice interface or UI that we will be able to connect it to your local Slack or Discord or Telegram or anything like this. Because the fun thing about those agents is that once you have the base setup of working features and working tool calls and everything around that, you can just switch up the connection layer, and from Slack you can migrate to Discord or to actually just you can run on everything at the same time. So very fun project. I actually grew quite fond of Eve. I feel like it's I'm not a fan of things called the convention over configuration, because I feel like they obstruct often a lot of logic, and I feel that one of frameworks I couldn't never get into was the Angular, because it's a lot of convention over configuration. So in order to make something work, you just copy and paste it in this folder, and then just name this the certain way, and it's gonna work. And I feel like it have a tendency to very fast turn into this like tribal knowledge, because it's barely documented anywhere, and you either know it or you have no way to find it by just looking at the code. But in case of Eve, I feel like that's a huge plus on the Eve side. So setting up agents like that is very clear to read, very clear to understand, because at the end of the day, agents are fairly simple. They are created from a couple of basic tools, basic things. So Ryan asked, do we use a local model or a cloud-based model? I think in our case, kind of both. Because, Jor, please correct me if I'm wrong, but today we will be setting up this Eve news agent. It will be working on our internal LLM, internal agent that is hosted on our servers. So it's a local model in terms of its call stacks, but it's cloud-based in terms of we'll not be hosting it right now on our machines. And the local, the model in question, this model in question will be a main topic on stream in 2 weeks. So we will dive much deeper into that in 2 weeks. But today we will be working. Once we set it up, all you, because you already did the init for this project, right?
I have the init, but not the model configuration, so we will do it.
Great. Oh, so we'll go through everything. Nice, amazing. So, just quick temperature check. Who are you ready to jump into the coding, or do you still want to, release the tension, feel a little bit looser, and.
We'll see. Let's just dive in. No problem.
Okay. So you can share your screen in that case. Be free to share just like one window, so we will not, leak anything. So I hate when it happens. It's so stressful.
If you guys can see.
Yeah, they will see it in a moment. So this screen and sharing this screen. Okay, if you could just enlarge the font a little bit. And in the meanwhile, I'm gonna share with you my love-hate relationship, because today I was working on upgrading Expo, and even though I used the best skills and the best models, at the end of the day, my model was like, yo, it's done. Like, it builds, it works. Thank you for your cooperation. And I tried to run the project, and yeah, it did build and it did deploy on device, but it started throwing some runtime errors. And then, because some internal libraries changed, the behavior of some functionalities changed. So it's like a huge game of whack-a-mole, and you fix one thing, second thing appears, you fix second thing, third thing appears. So yeah, I strongly believe that LLMs and agents are just a tool. And let's now dive into how to operate that tool.
Wonderful. Awesome. Right. So, to be fair, this was my first project building with Eve, right? But after that, we have built quite very complicated harness, which maybe we can tackle in a few upcoming live streams, maybe in a month or two, for example.
Hmm?
Okay, so this is basically the project that you get when you do something like npx eve at the latest in it, and the name of your project. So this is what you get. I added a deploy script. We will straight deploy it to production. It's a bad project anyway. So this is the only script that I have added. Now let's take a look at the agent that we get out of the box. So there's the instructions file. Then we have an agent file where we would declare our agent, what we want to use. In this case, by default, it's like Anthropic. We are not going to use it. We're going to use the call stacks one, and the channels, like where you would define it. We will get to it in a bit. Right. So
Quick question from me. You also set up Git, right? Just mainly asking so we can show the
question.
diffs.
No, I sorry.
Oh, so it just did a git init. Sorry, it did the git ignore from
By default, yes, that's true.
init. I mean, you don't have to, do it a remote repository. I like having a git inited on the showcase project, because it's nice to present, what's changed and which file has been worked on.
All right. We could show that, but in this case, you have to take my word for it. It's only this script. So there's nothing else.
I trust you.
Yeah. So from here onwards, we can track the diff. So let's do that. Okay. So now let me recall. I am gonna use some of my code from the official internal call stack tool. So let me see how we can do it. Okay.
So it's a good old way of using snippets.
Yeah. Right. So I am first gonna install the AI SDK, because the stacks model that we have is a layer. I don't know the let's say behind the scenes of how it's done, but from what I know, it's need an open AI connection to make it work. So that's what I know. Okay, so I have that. Now let me quickly.
I'm actually quite surprised that this hasn't been standardized yet, because we have MCPs, and I feel like MCP is a standard now, but for some reason we still have so many harnesses or like protocols to connect with the agents, which is weird.
That's true. Well, yeah, it will happen. uh, for example, we had like context engineering, then we had harness engineering, then we had the loop engineering, and now we have the graph engineering. So it is evolving. We'll have it.
I didn't catch up to the graph engineering yet, so maybe it's a topic for one of the streams in the future.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know what's happening. Okay, so there is this Apex API key. So the name of the model we have for Costek is Apex. Is the API key, the URL, and that's gonna be it. We have a env local template, so we have defined the environment variables in the env local file. I'm not gonna tap on it or click on it, but it's the template here. You guys can see it, and I don't know what the hell is wrong with this. Right, let me just reopen it. Okay. Okay, so we have the agent in place. Now let's do one thing. Let's name it something like, let's say, uh,
What would be a nice name? Just a Jack. Just a Jack, maybe.
you are a one. You are a named.
Max.
I have a name.
Max.
You are a named agent. Let's say you are an agent named Max.
Yes.
Max.
Also, quick thing to mention, in the agent.ts file, when the agent was set up, there was this very scary looking line about context size. So context size that is being handled by the model itself is fairly easy to find, whichever model you'll be using. Why do we have to add it when adding our own custom model? It's because most of the stock models have information about the maximum context size inside, let's call it Eve libraries, consts, and stuff like that. Since we are providing a model that is custom, Eve doesn't know out of the box what is the maximum context size. Thus, we provided it explicitly. Small thing, but when I was setting Eve for the first time, I actually struggled a bit to find how to pass the information about context size, and Eve didn't want to wake up without adding that.
Right. I also have one thing to add for that. I will just get back to it in a bit. Okay, so we are gonna React with React, and secondly, we support React and React Native. The names have and the organization have changed, so it's gonna be React instead of Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me see if we have to. All right, we will update this instruction in a bit. Let's go with this for now. Right, I am gonna run the.
You know why I really love those? Because it's turning into an actual, you can actually make this an extendable product in terms of, here we provided the accepted or supported repositories in the system prompt, right? But if we would like to make an overkill, we could actually set up some sort of a database with a table called supported repos, and as a part of a tool call or anything like that, agent could actually fetch all of the supported tool calls, so we could externalize and like extend which repos we want to have supported. But
if
for
you,
now,
if you like to burn your tokens, make your life a bit more miserable, then please go ahead and do it.
Okay, you piqued my curiosity. Why would it actually, you think, burn tokens? Do you think the tool calls are heavy, or?
So my idea is that you are, well, using Eve and all of its things. If you don't need any API and use, for example, what we are going to build today, we are going to be building it without Eve workflows because we don't need it. And if we were supposed to do it, then it would essentially be an overkill, because it would, let's say, use an approach like fan out or something, and it would wait technically. So I don't have an experiment with that, but just understanding it from the technical perspective, it doesn't feel right.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so I said that I will add one thing, that is agent, right? So we have you just briefly touched based upon this one. I'm not gonna, let's say, define it again, but just one thing is that, so by default, if in its own internal harness, it handles the model compaction or the context window compaction on its own. So I guess it's at a predefined value of like zero point 0.9. So if the model reaches the zero point 0.9 of the total context window token, it would automatically compact the context, right? But we can also control it. If I guess it is like the compaction, we can, sorry, it's supposed to be compaction, and we could
What
define,
is the compaction? How does it work?
it is basically the, let's say it is basically at which threshold of context. Let's understand it this way, like at 70% of the defined context window, it
Mm-hmm.
will automatically occur a summary or like injected prompt kind of system prompt into the eaves or into the running model context, and it
Mm-hmm.
would ask it or request it to summarize your current work or current context,
Oh.
and just reduce your context window again. So it happens by
Oh
Eve.
wow.
Yeah, Eve
But
handles.
wow, I honestly had no idea that this works like that. But doesn't this open like a window to, yeah, oh yeah, we have a like summary of the whole story, which is
Yeah,
good thing, which is nice. But doesn't this open a window to like basically gaslight, like for the model to gaslight itself in terms of like hallucinate some summaries or change some context, and
this could
also.
happen. Sorry, this could happen if you have a long running context window, right?
Mhm,
So your agent have already compacted the context, let's say 10th or 20th or like
mhm,
maybe the 30th time. So during each compaction, some context is supposed to be lost.
okay,
So that's why when you are designing the systems, you need to know when to invoke a sub agent, when to keep
okay.
it running in the single agent's context.
Oh, and also we lose cache, right? We lose entire cache.
Yes, yes. And if time allows that, we can, for example, quickly touch upon like how you can invoke. So there are two kinds of sub agents with Eve. One is the
Mhm,
sub agent as a known, and second is the root agent or the built-in agent. Let's say this one, for example.
mhm,
And Eve can spawn the copies of this agent. So there is a subtle difference between sub agent and the root agent, for example.
mhm,
So if Eve is spawning sub agents like the dedicated one that you define with a folder like sub agent, for example,
mhm.
so in this way they get their own sandbox, their own tools, their everything
Oh,
that's separate. But if you request Eve to dedicate a fresh copy of the root agent, that is also a sub agent with
okay.
its own fresh context, but it uses the same sandbox, the
Oh,
same tools, and all. So that is very important to know if you still need. And let's say if your agent generates some artifacts on in a single sandbox, and but you want sub agents with fresh context, right? And you don't
mhm.
want to lose the sandbox, you would want to use the built-in sub
Can
agents.
we?
Yeah.
Would it be fair to say that running a sub agent by your main agent is a little bit similar to running a tool call, but instead of running some API calls and like a logic that you can actually follow through, it just spins up a sub agent that has his own set of rules and set of tool calls and everything, and its job is to process things and then return a report to the main agent, and from that the main agent can continue on delivering the work to you, right?
No, it's a bit different, because the tool calls, when they run, so from what I know, from what I have observed, the tool calls that are run by Eve, agent only sees the output that they return. So you could encapsulate and you could not return the output of, let's say, npm install. They would
Mhm.
not see it. You could return, let's say, success, true or false,
Okay.
like were the npm install successful or
Oh,
not.
because of the separate sandbox. So the main agent can just peek into what the sub agent is doing. He's just waiting for the official output. So agent can say, "Yeah, I ran this. This didn't work. This worked like this. Here you go. I'm done."
That's the not a problem, but let's say a feature of the sub agent, because they get their own dedicated sandbox, so they need their own context and their whole everything, so you would
Mhm.
define their role separately.
Yeah.
But if you have a use case, because for example we are building something internally and we couldn't use the sub agents on their own, we needed to spawn the copies of the root built-in
No.
eve agent, so that we can
Um,
access the sandbox and go on. Yeah.
okay. Quick question: can a main agent, root agent, while spinning up the sub agent, do a prompt injection in terms of adding some flavor to the instruction MD or something like that?
From what I know, well, you need to define how, like, for example, um, it would not necessarily change your code that you have in here, but
Mm-hmm.
spawn a sub agent, the root agent need to send a prompt. So
Mm-hmm.
it would construct a prompt of its own and give it to the root agent that, okay, please c- drive me a sub agent.
Oh, so it
Yeah.
actually works just like if you would physically open up a second window with the second agent,
Yeah.
talk with him, and then just copy the last response and then paste
Yeah,
it back.
that's true.
Okay. Okay. I didn't
And
know it spins up the second conversation.
yeah. Okay, so all right, so we defined the instructions. Now let's quickly check. um who are you? I don't know what it's gonna say. But do I have the token? I should have.
We have what?
Okay, so we have the token one. So it is Max. A good name would have been like Odysseus maybe, but since it's like trending, so anyway, so
Feel free to change the name. Just a long time ago there was this reporter in Poland called like his second name was Max, and just sparked up. But feel free to call him Odysseus or.
okay, so now that we have it here, I would like us to add a web channel here, or let's say we would like to see it now on web. Using CLI, it's good, but let's just use it in web. Maybe if someone wants to deploy it for their own use, they could just deploy the web. So we have these changes. Let's just stage them for now.
Mhm.
Uh, I am gonna use a command. So you could use the Eve docs. There is a tutorial, let's say, section, and I like to copy some commands from there. So I'm just gonna copy this command
Oh yeah,
and
makes sense.
channels add web. So we are gonna add web now. During the process, I would stop it in between because I don't want to connect to Vercel right now.
Mhm.
We'll do it later. Okay, right.
Oh, because like to explain. Also, let's make it a rule. If I'm wrong, just point it out because I tend to be wrong quite often. Yeah, that's how you learn, by the way. I hope. Maybe I'm wrong on this as well. But with when you spin up the Eve init by default, it's by default it creates a way like the connector that goes through Vercel connectors. So we will be doing the connection via like pure Slack CLI. So that's why we'll have to have some tokens and stuff like that, because this agent will be connecting straight to Slack and not via Vercel related things. Although, like, I don't under. Oh yeah, I guess that Vercel must be allowing you to quickly switch between channels and stuff like that, right?
Sorry, Kevin. I was just lost in this error. Can you repeat what you were
Yeah,
saying?
yeah, no worries. I just said that I was wondering what's the difference between the pure Slack library and using Vercel to connect to
we are,
Slack?
we are gonna use the Vercel connector. Okay,
Oh, we
so
will. Okay.
yeah. Okay. God, I don't know what's happening. All right, let me just copy some dependencies from the other one. Or maybe let me just define. So we have, we don't have the test, right? We don't have the related done. Let's just add it. Conflicts with derived dependency. Maybe let's try deriving it. Okay. Okay. Right. So I think we have we don't, no, we don't have it. We need to define it again. Okay.
Oh
So
wow, I
that,
did.
sorry.
I didn't know that Eve has like tools like this, because it's basically just auto-generated code for you, right? To connect.
Yeah, no, Eve is very, very, very like great. So Eve supports connecting to Slack, Telegram, everything. It could scaffold those channels for you out of the box,
Mhm.
right? So, but then you need to just do some kind of configuration, right? So
But
I have tested this with Telegram, Slack, Web, works great to be honest. Okay, so channel Web. Okay, so right. I believe we have web set up now. Yes, I can see some files. Let us just go ahead and run this command. This should work, right?
yeah, I think you should start with Eve build, and then
No, no,
oh
no, 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 no. I mean, okay, this is it's different because right. Technically, it should have worked because when you add web channel, it adds it all sorts of different scripts for you. Right, we might need to do a build perhaps, I guess.
knew it. Yeah, like the
But
CLI works right out of the box, but
to be honest,
um,
I did not see this error before because Eve took care of it. But maybe like in some recent releases,
I bet like you were working with an agent, right? So maybe underneath it just did the build and the start.
perhaps it could be true. Right, I'm just gonna. Looks like it failing on TS config.
Oh yeah, maybe maybe just use the Eve build and Eve start instead of next.
No, 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 no. We need to bundle the web file so that we can use it, right?
Oh okay.
Right. So it's missing parts. I guess it is. Right. Yes, it is. Right. Right.
I hate configurations and conventions.
Yeah. So it is doing function build. Okay. Eve client has no export member. What the fuck is wrong with the
Did
Okay,
you run
let's.
the npm install? Maybe it set up things, but it didn't
I
install
did.
the
I did.
dependencies.
I did, but it's failing on some types.
Oh, okay.
Maybe let's try npm runtime and see what's happening. Maybe let's
Okay.
just ask the agent to fix it. I mean, I'm not so proficient with web. Okay, it worked. Good.
Nice. Okay.
Okay, so we are seeing in browser. Let's just see who are you. Again, just to verify that what we use on CLI is also
Mhm.
working with. Okay, so it's Max. It can scan or fetch the latest commit from React and React Native repositories. Good. So far, so good, I believe. Um, all right. Let me see and commit these changes for now. Right. Um, still no.
Quick question: Are you like? Can we publish this repo after the stream?
The one that we are building now,
Yeah, this one.
I guess this should not be a problem. I could do that. Okay, no
But
problem. Mm-hmm.
it does, like, because I hate saying things like that, because
Mm-hmm.
then people like stop working on the project and they just wait for a repository to be released. Do your own repositories.
I mean, it's easy. Like it's relatively easy. Or
Like,
folks, you guys can just like prompt to any agent, and then they it could
because
build it for you.
uh, it was the same in the school. Like, I was paying attention, but then teacher said, "Oh, all of those slides will be then published. You will be able to download them." I was like, "Okay, I don't need to pay attention anymore."
Okay. All right. So I am gonna let's say copy the instructions file from our internal one. I'm gonna paste it here.
Do you want to like hide the screen for a second?
No, like it's nothing.
Okay.
Okay. So let's see. We will go through it. So the name is Max. You provide a structured summary of the commits that landed in React and React Native. And React Native. We are not gonna cover the other ones in this one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, repository for the period defined as part of the prompt. You use defined tools. Your supported repositories are these ones,
Mm-hmm.
and the maximum time period allowed is like 7 days. Any other day is not acceptable. This is just done, just to like prevent the misuse of Eve. So basically, the idea that we create this agent is that it will send you the daily summaries, right? So you will
Mm-hmm.
not miss anything. So technically, you shouldn't need to go back 7 days, right? So that's the
Okay.
whole idea of this one. Feel free to change this as you would want. Okay. All right. We have the instructions. Now we would like to, I guess, add some tools. We already have agent. Now let's try and add some
Would
tools.
it be fair to say that Eve basically bridges the gap between things like Cloud Code, which is like works in terminal and you basically prompt it to work, and things like OpenClaw or Hermes, so agents that work entirely autonomously without any input. So I would say that Eve kind of bridges the gap where you still can have an agent with certain amount of autonomicity. Oh my god, that's a hard word. Partially autonomous, but still more predictable in the way it works.
So the thing is that Eve is not an agent on its own. It's like an agent building framework, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it's a different thing. So you can use it to build some agent with harness and all everything. But Eve is similar to LangGraph in context. You
Mm-hmm.
know, you can use it in similar way that you would use LangGraph, but of course you would need to handle a few things. And there are differences between LangGraph and Eve. We
Mm-hmm.
could cover it, but this flow that we are designing, it's gonna be more similar to LangChain. So like where you have an agent, you would define something like how to retrieve, it would retrieve
Mm-hmm.
it, it would structure it, it would give you the summary. So that's kind of a thing that you would develop with LangChain. So exactly this we are gonna do with Eve. But you can build a complex agent with Eve as well, which is rather the scope for Lang graph. Like you could have sub
Mm-hmm.
agent, you could have a state, you could also have a state in this one. So lots of similarities, but there are functional differences. Like Lang graph doesn't out of the box, let's say give you the sandboxes and
Mm-hmm.
lots of things. Eve gives you that. Yes, you could get all of those with few things like I guess it's one other framework by LangChain, but by Lang, I forgot the name of it. But you just could get it, but it requires some configurations.
There's LangChain, LangGraph, and
So there is like four, if I recall. So there's like Lang Smith, but that's for observability.
mm-hmm.
But there is a fourth one. but I don't know, forgot
I
the
keep
name of.
thinking like it's somehow related to a parrot, but I don't know why. Just gonna quickly check that because you brought back some of the memories, because I used to like read about LangChain and stuff like that all the time. Products. There's engine, observability, evaluation. Oh, they have deep agents.
No, that's not what I was after.
Oh, okay. So there's evaluation. Langsmith. That's the thing you mentioned. There is some deployment. There is fleet. There is whatever it was. It's obstructed under, naming conventions and LangChain, LangGraph, and LangSmith. Yeah, that's all. And the
Langflow, Langflow, if I recall, I guess. Maybe,
LangFlow.
maybe if I recall, but I haven't,
Oh, that's
uh,
a separate product. Looks like.
yeah, that's true. That's true. It gives you, I think, full deployment things and all. You could manage things, but you get all of these out of the box with Eve. I'm not saying you should use Eve now. No, there are, of course, use cases for all of these products,
Mhm.
but I'm just highlighting the differences or similarities so that we can understand how to use Eve, for example, in this live stream.
Because at the end
Okay,
of the day, all of the frameworks and whatever tool you use, at the end of the day, just a file on your laptop. So
true. That's true. That's true. Okay, so I'm gonna write two tools. So we are gonna name our tools, let's say react.ts, and then react native.ts. Let's just right.
how does Eve work with things like more generic functions? So let's say, because you created two separate tools, I assume one will be to connect to React Native repository, second to connect to React repository.
Yeah.
But how could we set up a thing like, fetch repository documentation? That's as a function that will be reused in multiple tools. Can we do something like
Totally.
that?
Yes, we will exactly follow
Oh,
this same pattern.
I'm sorry. I just
No problem.
overexcited.
Yeah. Okay, so all right. So let me just first of all define a file, or maybe okay. So I am gonna copy one file. Okay, then we will install dependency. So any reusable function you could define in like libs or lib, is it? Just verify the name, lib, and
Happy
then
to
we will
check.
define name like octo. So this is a function that could be reused. So we define get commits the owner. So like let's say React/React and React/React Native. So in this case, the owner is gonna be React, and repo is gonna be the name of the repo. And since like 2 days ago, 3 days, 4 days, the date basically
Mhm.
that we need. And we are gonna use OctoKit. So OctoKit is, I think, it's by GitHub, by Git officially, and it is like an SDK that we can use to call their APIs. Very, very good. I like this one.
No, I didn't know about that.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
they have.
actually GitHub API official. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so right, so we have the dependency. Now let's quickly define the types. Um, right, let's just create a file. Right, export. Um, no, no, absolutely not. The It's gonna be React. Right, so we have owner and then we have the repo. So
Mhm.
we suffice this. Why not? Okay, anyway, we'll find it. Um, all right, so we have so this one is gonna be a reusable function. Now let's quickly
Mhm.
define. Okay, so we will do it in two parts, so that we know what's going on. Okay, so I need to get some boilerplate define tool. All right, let me just follow the documentation tool.
I never understood people who were able to create a new file and then just start writing like import this, export def. Like I feel like all of the tutorials on the internet, all of them, oh, now we create a file, now we write export default, and they just create everything from scratch. Where since I started programming, I was always working like I would copy paste the entire file and then just edit it. I if I would see an empty file, I freeze.
I guess to each their own, right? Because some
Oh
people
yeah.
like, write their code. They like the sound of their keys. So, so that's how you would define a tool and what it's supposed to do. So in the execute block, you would define what you want to do. Let's say you want to fetch an API or do something. So
Mm-hmm.
similar, just replace it with Octo. Let's say. So we are defining the tool. So we expose. Let's say. So this is basically a description. This gets advertised to Eve, like this is my description. If you need something similar, just call me out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it tells Eve that if you want the commits from, let's say, React repository since a given date, just call me. If you want something from, let's say, Expo, just call me. Okay. So you could have 5 or 6 different tools doing similar or different thing.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So let's just ignore the errors and copy this code for React Native. Now we have similar, exact same code in 2 places. And to your
Mm-hmm.
question, Cam, it's doing the same thing, right? So let's just, and the only difference is gonna be the names. In this case, React Native, and we are
Mm-hmm.
just having. So it's not something that I like to define, similar thing in 2 places. So that's why we are gonna create a tool, not tool, but a rather reusable function, get tool. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and bear with me a minute. I need to copy the code. Right. So we define that tool, get tool, and the owner name like React in this case, and repository React Native or React, and then
Mm-hmm.
this would go in owner. This needs to get in the function, right? And from here, they would just call this. It's supposed to be not.
Okay, that's nice.
Yeah, and similarly here, you would just define not you, React and React Native,
I
right?
feel
So
like it's one step from looking like Next and using the like file naming conventions to generate tools.
okay, right. So we have our tooling in place. So we have 2 tools, React and React Native. Technically, you could have only one tool, let's say fetch repositories, for example, or fetch commits. And in there, you could define it. Maybe let's just quickly show a demo quickly. Right, just copy this, go back. Let's say you have this tool, and then you could define a few other different function. Let's say you could have the right const uh, commits from expo, and then you will see await get commits owner. Sorry, thank you. Expo, and then the period, and then you could have another similar line here for, let's say, metro, and then you could use promise.all or promise dot something and fetch all of these in one single tool. You could do
Mhm.
that. I just like this one, so I'm not gonna use it.
No, that's a very nice way of doing that. I really like it.
Right, and then just copy the style here instead.
I mean,
Yeah.
this is the best we can get to have like generic
Well,
functions, right? Like for
yeah.
now, there is no way for us to get that because ideally, you would get like a tool for AI to get the tool, but I feel like this creates a certain level of abstraction, which LLMs might not successfully understand.
So my reason to not define single tool for this is because What if someone wants to only get information about Expo? They don't want the commits or the latest news from Metro or React
I mean,
Native.
in theory, you could create a as an input. It gets in array,
Yes,
and
that's
from the array, and then if this, then push. If then this push. So
I guess the only problem is that with a single tool is that you are giving more control to agent instead of directing it, right?
mhm,
So there is a chance of the output being non-deterministic. It could still run something, right?
yeah,
So for example, in here, get tool, if you could say the input, this is the input schema, right? You are saying that repo names, let's say, and we say, okay, it could be, let's say, so this is something that the agent is gonna insert into
yeah.
this tool, right? So if we say, okay, we will have 5 calls in here, so let's like this, for example, right? So something like this, let's just not you. So using the same thing that I was telling you, like promise not all, or based on the repo names run, so there would
Mhm.
be only single tool. But the problem is that this repo names and period, it is inserted by the agent. So period, like from 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, and then the repo,
Okay.
right? So
Yeah.
there is a chance of doing some hallucinations or something. So I didn't like
Yeah.
to take that risk only.
And if one of the repos break, in case of having separate tools, you can have information that, oh, and this
Yes,
returned like
exactly.
fake, but everything else worked correctly.
Yes, that's true.
I mean,
Okay,
don't get me wrong. I really like this approach because
no,
it's a nice balance between a generic function and actual declarative tools.
yeah, yeah. No, I am not getting you wrong. It is like always good to debate
Mhm.
on solutions to get the right one. Always.
That's a fresh new pattern. That's a tool factory.
Yes.
That's an actual pattern. Is this documented somewhere, or did you just like create a new pattern?
No, I don't know.
No, it's just a factory design pattern, but you just adapted it for agentic coding. Nice.
Well, at some point, like software engineering that you spend time learning in the university is gonna pay off. So okay, so we have the tool, right? It will. So I just to like quickly summarize, this description gets advertised to the Eve agent so that it can resolve the correct tool. So if I would say I only want React Native, it should only get information from React Native and not React. But the problem is, now we need to format the commits. Right now, it would
Mhm.
fetch or get all of the commits that are defined in this code. There are 2 ways to do it. One is you write some code here, let's say some transformer logic that removes CI chore
Nah, it's
test
just
commit.
just by reading that, I got chills. Like it would be a very annoying procedure to. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
So you could either do that, but there is a problem because some teams they use the conventional commit format, or some teams do not only use conventional, but they structure their own practice as well. So it would be very very hard, not hard but rather complex to get the right ones.
Hmm.
So in what I did, I added, well, we will add this in the skill that we would use, and the agent would format it with our guidance.
Oh,
Okay,
you know
so
what would also be fairly nice?
yeah.
I mean, it's not for this stream because it will be a little bit of an overkill, but just like, playing around with approaches, you could also create a sub agent that's job is retrieve commits and give me a summary of, so basically like a intelligent tool for the root agent.
You could do it, but it's like an overkill here. You
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
need a
yeah, yeah. In this
yeah,
case, that
yeah,
would be completely an overkill. But in
yeah.
theory, you don't need to a smart model to retrieve and format commits, but to summarize them and present them. So you could actually have a small sub agent, really dumb, just retrieves, formats, returns to the root agent, and root agent picks what's important, what's not. But yeah, it's people used to say, oh yeah, with programming sometimes you need to think outside of the box, but with AI programming and agent programming, we still didn't define what is the box. So
yeah, that's true. Okay. All right. So we have the tools, we have the reusable functions. Now let's create a skill to wire it all. So I'm gonna name it format skills.ts. Now I would like to copy some code.
no worries.
Not format skills, rather it should be
Camo
format.
asks a fair question. What's in the box? Well, hopefully not AGI. There's one thing I hope.
Okay, so all right, so we have these. I am gonna remove the ones that we are not gonna implementing. Right, let me remove the ones that. Let me just to be fair, search expo. No, we are good. Okay, so what we do here is that we instruct the agent to format the commits into a structured format, of course. So we commit the groups by their repositories. So as you saw in the showcase video, we had a single header title like React, and then there were commits by the conventional commit format like feat, refactor, fix, so that is one section, then second section. So that's what we are telling it. So for each scope, so this is basically the scopes, and for each scope, group the commits by their area of impact, like feed or whatever the fix. Okay, so we have their feed, fix, dog style, refactor, performance, and we say that understand. Now we are giving the control back to agent because they are not that dumb that they cannot understand a CI or a test commit or chore commit. So we tell it, and then we ask them whatever the amount of commits that you drop from your structure summary, take the note of it. Like 2 commits were dropped, 3 commits were dropped because they were CI or chore commits. So that is it here, and then a bit of instruction for Slack, and now so you could see the, let's say, the received markdown. So we have the repo, how many commits per area, like fix feature, how many commits, and then the commit message, commit short description. So we ask the agent to drive a bit of short description. That short description is something that you have to generate based on the commit, like, because it's one thing to get the commit link, but it's second thing to get 1 or 2 line summary if I am interested in reading that commit details or not, for example. And that is it, to be honest. And this description is something that gets advertised to the agent.
That's whenever I see tools like Eve or see how people are able to create those agents like fast, and then they will work really nicely. I always remember it was like 2.5 years ago, I think. I was working still at Callstack, and we are doing our internal like AI agent, one of the first ones, right? And I remember like one of our biggest struggles was that the context windows were really small. The tokens were very expensive. So in order to do something like that, we wouldn't, just like, yeah, just fetch the commits and just like push and voila, it's gonna work. No, we had to figure out like a retrieval augmented generation, and we had to set up some vector database and regularly fetch all of the commits and embed them, and do all of that pre-processing just to have an agent actually do something beneficial. It's just so weird and cool at the same time. See how the LLMs space and agent space evolved, that now you can just like just put the like, you know what, just put entire book in it. It's gonna cost you like 10 cents. And just it's gonna be much cheaper than handling all of the architecture and all of the infrastructure to do this all pre-processing.
If it doesn't have the if your book doesn't have any images, then sure, go ahead and pour it in. But if it has images, then or weird kind of formatting, then you would, for example, like sometimes I use the PDFs or the files from, let's say, some companies that I have,
Mm-hmm.
let's say, my stock portfolio, for example.
Mm-hmm.
I would download this file, but it has tons of images, and then sometimes when I am just lazy, I feed that file straight to,
Yeah.
let's say, Gemini or Cloud, and see my tokens burned because I was happy then. But there is
Yeah.
a good one from Microsoft, I believe. It is supposed to convert a PDF into a format, or I think it's called Markdown. It's Markdown something, with by preserving the context of that, let's say, quarterly summary from that company.
Mm.
And then you could feed that text only things to the agent, saves a lot of tokens. Haven't tried it though.
Yeah, like, I really I hate PDF format because it's, for a long time it seemed to me like, oh, this is a stable format, that's the best format to share documents, but then turns out that it's basically a mix of a Word file or TXT file and an image where everything is rendered, and it's really complex and weird under the hood. So we have an actual Leonardo da Vinci in the comment section. What are you building? We, dear sir, are building an Eve agent that's job will be fetching and compiling all of the new, fresh updates to any repository you could want or pick, actually, and it's going to compile all of those informations and then send them to any type of communication channel you wanted. So would be it Slack, Discord, Telegram, whatever. But the main showcase here is how to work with Eve. And for now, I already learned a couple of nice tricks I'm going to use in the future. So yeah, let's continue.
Okay, thanks, man. Right, so we have it almost everything wired now. We just need to run the server, I believe. And let's see. Now, at this point, it should work on that at least. Then we would figure out how to make it work with Slack, maybe schedule also. Right, so where is the web? Should be here. Restart browser. Right.
We have a comment, plus I'm gonna turn it into a question. So asked, there is another plugin called Caveman. It cuts output token usage by 65 to 75%. Did you? And also, Ty says that, damn, this is cool, and I do agree. This is cool, and cool with a K. So I want to have you tried the Caveman, because I feel like the idea of that is very cool, because you need no hard words to express what you want. Context preserved, token saved, good. So I'm
I believe.
wondering.
Sorry, go on.
No. I'm just wondering, have you tested those plugins or skills like those?
I was trying to, figure out how can I reduce, let's say, for PDF. I heard about Caveman. I guess someone told me. But from what I know, it is supposed to reduce your textual input. Well, from anyone can correct me if I'm wrong on chat, but it doesn't, let's say, trim your PDFs and remove unnecessary things out of it.
No. So the Caveman is actually, it changes the way that the model communicates with you. So if you would put in some PDF, it's gonna get all of the PDF, but while internally discussing, thinking about this PDF, it will use simple words, no hard words,
I see. Okay.
very primitive, like
Sorry.
Caveman.
Thanks for letting me know. I will try it out. Thank you.
But it kind of scares me because I feel like, yeah, so Kwan says that it's only the output part, but in the same time, I feel like this wouldn't really work well with setup where you have sub agents and stuff like that. Because it should, in theory, work nicely where just exchange the context with it, but I don't know. There is this one guy on YouTube. He creates basically medical content while talking like a caveman, and it's so simple. You actually don't need complex words and semantics and stuff like that to preserve all of the needed context. So yeah, not only the tokens will get cheaper and models faster, but maybe they will start speaking more down to earth manner without using complex words.
True that. Cool.
So now we have a tool and we have skills. So
One thing,
yeah.
just wanted to say that like comment section is good today. Okay. So you were saying something, Kevin.
Yeah, I just wanted to summarize. We have now the lib with the reusable code parts for our tools. And we have two tools. So in theory, the agents should be able to fulfill the success flow, the success path.
True. Check it out. Right. I am gonna define. Let's first ask, who are you? Okay. I just like we can do it without it. To be honest, don't get me wrong. Right. So it can help with that. I would define the name. Let's say React, and just do latest. Latest. If you don't know, in instruction we have defined treat the prompt with latest as a commit which have landed in a period of 1 day. So 1 day
Oh,
from now. Yeah.
okay.
So let's just send the prompt. If it fails, we will see. If it works, we'll see.
So in
Yes.
theory now it's thinking, processing.
Yeah. And then it should load the skill, then load the tool. So it loaded the skill, the format commits. It should only load React. It only
Mhm.
loaded the React tool and you say the period of 1 day. And then it got the commits. Only 2 commits might have landed, let's say.
And there is the summary.
Yeah. Now, if I would just send latest, it would fetch all of the supported ones. Okay. So I guess we have defined it somewhere that if no repository is defined, use all from the supported ones. So, right, off you go. Okay. So we have it here. Let's just test out Expo. Maybe this should not work, I believe. Right. Good.
Oh, nice.
So Expo not supported, not getting it. Right. So this works very well. Now let's take it a step ahead and get this in Slack. So in Slack, in a way that at your defined time, as part of a schedule that we call an Eve, you would get a trigger from this Eve, your agent. In this case, Max Tech News Agent. It will send you a trigger with this React and React Native, all of both of them.
Actually, that's
Yeah.
one of the biggest problems with scheduling things like that, because I love local LLMs, local models, but they present a big problem. The problem with scheduled interactions, scheduled actions, because you don't always have your MacBook turned on, or sometimes it just puts itself to sleep to preserve energy. So in theory, you should be able to make, like, can you actually make a cron job on Mac?
I don't know, man.
Yeah, in theory, you should be able to create a cron job on Mac, but the cron job would, like, yeah, it would not use the Eve scheduling at all.
Like cron job for keeping the Mac on. That's what you are saying.
No. I mean, because Eve has like out of the box schedulings, right?
Yeah.
Like the schedules, but they do not work locally.
Yes, you need to deploy it, if I recall correctly. Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Right. Right. So shall we continue?
Yeah,
Cool. So let me commit this code or not. Just stay for now.
I just peeked at the how the workflows are defined, and that's actually fun because the cron basically just wakes up the agent and sends the message that you predefined, right? Like the markdown.
Yes. Yes. Because it's just a single session. So when you deploy your this Eve agent to Vercel, it's a one single session. So there is, let's say, a one sandbox. So
Mm-hmm.
once a trigger or cron has been sent, I guess it waits for like 30 minutes or something, and then it gets to sleep. And then the next day it will wake up and then send you a cron job again. So not wasting compute on.
Okay. So Leonardo asked, why do we need cron job? Can we just give Slack tool to Eve and just give instruction to send in Slack? Yes, but the case is you would need to sit in front of your PC or Mac or whatever, do the npm start up the project and write to it like send me updates to Slack. You don't want to do it in specific intervals. You would like for your bot to send the updates automatically every day at 5 p.m. send you the updates. So you can do it by setting up cron job that will basically wake up your laptop, do npm run start, send the message to agent, and it's going to work. And Eve allows you to set up the schedules, but the schedules, I think they are very much intertwined with how the agents are later deployed on Vercel.
Yeah, that's true. Okay.
Because there is, I think they have it even somewhere in the documentation that currently the schedules, like you could just do, because in theory, right now we are running the project, right? You did npm run start and the project is actually running in the background. But I still think that if you would declare a schedule, it would not work when run locally.
No, I recall this correctly because I could think I was reading some docs when trying to think about it or get more information. So that's what I found, that this needs to be deployed to
Mm-hmm.
somewhere, or you could run a trigger, but you may need to dispatch it manually using a curl or something.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you would do it. So that's one method. So not automatically. Right. So we have it working. I will just want to close the files that I don't need. Right. So now let's define a channel first of all. I believe it would be Slack. Yes. Let me see some code. Slack. Okay. I am trying to get some code for us.
Oh, so to actually clarify, it's not like we need the cron job, but we would like for this agent to work partially autonomous. That's a hard word. Autonomous. Oh, God damn it.
Automate.
Automatically, just by itself, once in a while.
Yeah. So that's the whole point. If someone don't like doesn't want to do it, don't do it. Like, so what we said, we wanted to get a daily summary from our start repositories
Mm-hmm.
in a structured format, so that we don't individually go out and or maybe just ask agent to give us, because it takes some time. As you do, just like get a notification on your phone, okay, there is a new summary, let me just quickly read it. If something entices us or is of our interest, we would just open the URL and
Mm-hmm.
see the content and be up to date with that.
And in theory, if you have a repository that you are maintaining, you can set up a bot that goes on, checks the code, and informs you, yeah, that's a good PR. Go check it out by yourself. And this, here's the summary or whatever. So powerful stuff.
Right. So you see here, there's a cute little function. It is for splitting what we receive by the agent into a format that we can then supply to Slack as individual uh, messages by per repository. So that's what we do in here. So you see that for each section we send a thread post. Okay, so that's what we are showing. So that the showcase that you see, so each thread contains 6 repository in that video, but in this case it should only contain 2 because you have defined React and
Wait a minute. How did you manage to do that?
I didn't. I just asked AI to do it. Like I just used my, I think, codex to write this all.
All I mean said how that. Oh, because it takes event data, so it basically takes data from each of the tool calls. Okay. Okay, yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. So these are the events that you receive from the select trigger from Vercel, and then you send them how you would like to. We would set it inside a schedule now. Next, let me just folder. I think schedules, and I believe. Let me just see it.
Uh, um,
Go ahead.
no, I just have the schedules open here, but I think it would make no sense to send it. It looks like you got your hands on the pulse and you know what you're doing. So I'll do my best trying to not interrupt, which is hard. It is actually a hard task for me.
Okay. Let's see. File tag news digest. So we are just naming our schedule this,
Mm-hmm.
and I guess we are good. Right. So we define the time in the UTC format. So I have defined it like 10 CET, if I'm right.
Mm-hmm.
And then let me rename this. So it's like the Tech News Daily Digest, and we are on React Native, and then Tech News. Let's say, let's just name it Tech News by Max. Would be interesting. Okay, so we define the message or the prompt, you know. So the
One
prompt,
second, because we have a comment from Leonardo.
go
Just
ahead.
asking, what is the use of Eve? Like, I know for proof of concept, this is good, but we can just use Octo to get the commits and then summarize using any AI chat API and directly send via Slack API. Yes, I mean, it's in this case, Eve provides us a nice framework in which we can set this up quickly, like in a matter of 2 hours. It who would be able to do it in 1 hour without my interruptions and my constant side quests and questions. But the idea is that now you have a quickly, nicely extendable agent that you can easily modify. You can quickly add another repo. You can modify, and the best part is that it works on schedule. It works so. Hor, help me out here
Yeah,
to like paraphrase. What is the use of Eve here?
yeah. Yeah, so the main thing that we have, so maybe let's just uh, go back a little bit. So you could technically install a GitHub Slack bot on your workspace. You could prompt it like, give me the latest commit, and it will give you probably and how you have configured it. So the problem is that it may give you the commits, but they won't be structured, or that's one thing, they would contain noise. Like they would contain commits like CI, chore, test. You are not interested in reading that. For example, if I want to know what has happened in React from the last day, I'm not interested in like what has happened in their CI or in their show. No, I just want the gist or the core of their framework, like feature, fix, performance, docs, things like that. So we have used Eve here to demonstrate, first of all, how you could use Eve to build your own agents. You are not limited to only using the Octo APIs here. You build your own agent, whatever the idea you have in your mind or whatever the solutions it fixes for you. So that's what we are taking a look here. So there's this difference. But then if you are asking like, why are we using Eve at all? No, so now that's a totally different question. So Eve is a framework for building agents. You could use Eve, you could use LangChain, LangGraph, whatever. It is just like
You know
how
what? Oh, sorry.
what
Sorry,
this
sorry.
fixes for you. No, go ahead. I was just wrapping it up.
I just realized that Leonardo actually, because he asked, we can just use Octo to get the commits, summarize them using a chat API, and directly send to via Slack API. And that's exactly what we are doing, but we are doing this wrapped into a framework that allows us to quickly iterate on the agent that we created, to quickly expand its capabilities, to it just it's a tool to make tools, basically. So yeah, we could do it manually, we could do it by a script, but then try and debug the script and try to like, here we have a full framework. And Kwan said, I guess just as a demo walkthrough of Eve, not so much its necessity in achieving this particular task. Fair point. One could just watch the repo and receive an email notification in almost real time. Yes, that's a fact as well. But now, we here create just 2 repos. Now imagine you want to observe 5 or 10 repos, and then you decide that, oh, actually, I would only like to get the most important bits, like feature breaking stuff, or to tweak one functionality a bit, and now you have a tool that informs you when people are discussing a lot in the comment section or whatever like this. So you have a nice framework in which you created in here, yes, proof of concept and very simple working bot, but the potential to expand its capabilities, it's very big. And as we, I think, showed here, it's fairly simple. Couple of nice simple functions, couple of nice simple techniques, and you have a very powerful own agent that works autonom by itself, regularly by itself.
Yeah, like for example, Kevin, I have subscribed to a few GitHub repositories, like even the ones that I maintain, and most of the times I just lose the count of emails that I am receiving from like the new issues created, the new PRs, and I forget it, and then I go and manually check it. So the reason we have it here is just so we are just saying like it fixes one thing for us, that we get the updates right in the Slack when we are, let's say, during the working hours. We could just read the message at our ease. So if it is, if it like doesn't fix anything for you, just don't use it. Or if you wanna, let's say, use Eve, just build something that fixes something for you. Just think of the problem that you are facing, and if Eve is a right fit for you, you could just technically use it very easily.
Like for instance, I think
Hmm.
trying to figure it out. No, I thought I came up with a nice example. So Kwan mentioned, yep, having the AI as a layer of distillation for ourselves and focuses us on some topics that might be more relevant to our current work in our repo. Yeah, exactly. So, you basically put this one agent and you can modify it however you want. And it's not just a script that you can actually debug, change, modify, and it's a code that runs exactly the same always. It's a nice, adaptable agent. So yeah, and sorry, continuing. We are now at the point of setting up a schedule in Eve.
Yeah.
So agent would be capable of triggering itself regularly and autonomously send the updates.
Right. So you define a prompt like, exactly like if you wanna get information from 2 or 3 repositories, you would define it here. So we define latest, and we do not define any repository. So from our instruction, if we don't define any repository name, it would get it for all of the supported ones, for example. So it would get it for React and React Native. Then this is the initial message that you would see as an item in your Slack channel. And underneath that thread, so there would be a new thread created from this message. So each repository details would be a single threaded message under
Hmm.
the main card. Okay, and that's it, to be honest, about this. Now we just need to link Vercel, deploy it, and connect to Slack, and then verify. So now I don't know if there would be any problems connecting Slack, but
You
let's
know
figure
what?
it out.
Uh,
Yeah.
if at any point we can do a quick switch, so if there will be some situation that you wouldn't feel comfortable sharing the screen, we can just hide the screen. You can display the Slack workspace we created beforehand, and we can just chat and talk and wait for our agent to trigger the schedule. But it would be actually kind of cool and fun to see how the dashboard looks like, if
Yeah.
that's okay.
You want me to fail miserably, man.
To do what?
You want me to fail like miserably at the live demos and all. We just,
Oh
oh no,
no!
this is
Listen,
basic.
I on
I'm just kidding. I'm
on
kidding.
mo I know, just on most of the streams I repeat that it's actually very beneficial to fail. I like when things don't work on the stream, because it's super nice to present, oh yeah, this works, and you click here, and when you click here, it's gonna work, and la la la. No, the nice and cool part about this job is seeing things fail and figuring how to fix them.
True.
So in
Okay.
theory, you created a command for deployment, right?
Yeah, I did. I did. But I am just trying to. Okay, I think I have it. Okay. Yes. Let's go. We have this command. Yeah, this one, and then we are gonna run this. It will, I think, it will connect to the Vercel project on its own, and then we will continue from there. So, let me see. Try running it. Okay, Vercel, who am I? Just to verify what team I am
Mm-hmm.
on. So I am on personal, which is good. I need to do that. Now let's try npm. I don't know if it will work or not. Let's just see it. Deploy Eve production. So we would use personal team, create new project. Let's do that. Code directory is this one. That's true. Directed nest, yes. Oh, one thing. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Right. We would need to disable the. I think. Let me just verify it. So it would require something, because if we deploy it now, it would also deploy the web, which I don't want.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
yeah, but I guess we can delete the project after this, so this should not be a problem.
Yeah, yeah. It's just for just to show up what can fail, how to
It's just
potentially
like,
fix it.
I want to save my personal hobby minutes that you get with Vercel. Okay.
And just like it was I was thinking about, is there an option to set up the agent, the one that you just created on the stream, entirely for free? Are there any ways of getting free tiers, free hosting,
You have
free?
it in Vercel, like with, so I am on personal or the hobby project.
Mhm.
So technically, you could just use it if you don't have enough traffic, or like if your agent is not using, the defined compute. You could technically use it. For example, I tested this
You
on
know what?
on
For just for now, in case anything will pop up on the screen, I'm gonna hide the screen, put us on the main screen, and in a second we're gonna come back to see the um, how the dashboard looks like on Vercel.
Yeah. So I was saying, so for this Vercel free project, I ran this Slack cron with these exact prompt for like, I think, 10 days for
Okay.
testing, like if it's working correctly or not. And it was running on a free tier, didn't get any problems. Maybe because the agent is not doing much, it's not using enough compute. But if the agent is doing, let's say, a lot of work, it is, let's say, installing node modules in a sandbox, because each Eve session
Yeah.
runs in its own sandbox, right? So we have some command error apparently. and I need to
is it safe to show?
yes, it's safe to
Okay,
uh,
so I'm showing back the screen, and
right. So it feels, but I would just run the npm run build again just to see why it failed.
yeah, this is honestly the part. Like sometime last week, I was participating in workshops, and I realized that writing an agent, that's fun. Writing an app, that's fun. Writing API and everything, that's fun and cool. Integrating then everything together, that's a nightmare.
That is true. I am just seeing why we are not. Okay, that is. Oh, I see. I will need to include it in TS config. That's stupid because when I tried with Eve before, didn't have to do any of this TS config or sorts of this stuff. Worked up right out of the box.
Mm.
I believe it should work now.
And things evolve. Like, I do remember reading that the schedules just don't work outside of the Vercel, but now I see that they added the self-deployed hosts and they explain how to set it up. So yeah, it should work as well.
I see. It's rather just like going back. Like why would they remove some types from their TS config, for example? What the fuck is going on? You
Okay,
need
Leonardo mentioned,
yeah.
got to know about Eve from this video only. So what would be the use case where this is preferred in real projects instead of code? Because I feel code is deterministic and every time it will give. Well, it will give same output. Yes, but in you don't always need the same output, but agents can give noise or hallucinate and cannot be trusted, I guess. I do agree, I don't fully trust agents as well, but in here this is a low impact, let's call it a low risk agent. And you know it's really hard to respond to that question, because Eve is just a. I've been in this like AI cloud for 3 years now, I think, trying to read up on everything. And in full honesty, Eve is one of the most transparent and easiest frameworks I've worked with. I tried like lang chains. I tried some other like configurational things to create those bots. Try to create just pure JavaScript that I will just run and it's gonna process and work. But Eve is just very simple, very easy to iterate upon, and that's actually kind of funny. But when you run the Eve init, it actually asks you to be opened up in Cloud Code right out of the gate, so you can just create it with another agent. So yes, for some cases, the ideal way would be to have a script that will just do one thing. But
Yeah.
in terms of processing data, like information, stuff like that, it's easy to for a script to just stop working the way you wanted it, and also to a lot of corner cases, because suddenly the team you are trying to observe added some CI or some code rabbit that does the code reviews, and suddenly you start receiving a lot of information, a lot of like notifications that you just don't care about, and you would need to go there and modify the script. But with model, it can actually figure out that it's not necessary and just
Yeah,
don't
just
send it to you.
like one more like addition to it. So I think the I don't Leonardo was it name, right? So you still get the control with code, so like you direct the agent. So in this case, you have the right tools to define. So let's say you define the name, let's say by this one. So and then there are instructions, for example, right? A very few lines precise what you need to do, and then For each tool, let's say, so this is the tool, right? React Native. And then in this one, you would define what you are doing. So this description gets advertised to the AI agent, and then it would only call if it wants to do it using its own context.
So it's a
So
very nice way of blending the deterministic code and in oh my god, another hard word.
interpreting.
Interpretive, I want to say, like, because AI interpretation, interpret. Oh my god, yeah, sorry, I caveman speech for today. Soha says that I guess we're not dealing with any kind of critical info. That's true. So there won't be any hallucination every time. Yes, correct. And also, Leonardo, the question you asked is, I feel you asked about Eve, but I feel like it's more about AI in general. And yes, AI is prone still to hallucinate, to break the what's the word? Why did recently this AI model escape alignment? Yeah, alignment. So there are still issues with alignment, and there is a reason why those couple of years into AI battles all around the globe, I mean, like tech battles, Apple still didn't create, I don't know, Siri 2.0 with internal LLM and stuff like that, because it's impossible to create those small models reliable and actually take responsibility of what they will tell your users. So yes, agent like Eve, maybe it's not but it's not about Eve itself. It's about whether you are willing to put your AI or LLM model, not even yours, like any LLM model, in between, for instance, you and your client or you and your coworkers. So, Eve is just a tool. It's a really nice, great tool that makes creating agents simple and establishing the rules for those agents simple as well. But in terms of overall like AI hallucinations and trust,
Yeah, like
it
you
will.
would get the AI like hallucinations with any kind of framework that you use, be it like LangChain, LangGraph, Eve, whatever. You would get it with that as well if you don't maintain the context or the memory or like every wiring correctly. You would get it with any kind of agentic framework. So Eve is just a tool, is like as like any other out there. The differences are quite many. Like for example, you would get the file system based, so Eve have its own agentic loop built on top of the files routing and all, so it handles everything for you. You get each sandbox with each agent. You could spawn sub agents, you could control agent, so lots of different things that you can achieve with Eve. So it is like not confuse the use cases of Eve by just seeing one demo. It is just like one small demo to let you know how you can use it, what are the APIs, how you can take it
Yeah.
further. For example, internally, we are actively building on one of the, let's say, complicated harness. I can tell more about it in one of the other stream, and we are using Eve to, let's say, work across different sub agents. So kind of like consider it lang graph but on Eve. So that's what we are building. But yeah, we can get into more, and that is actually would be a very good advanced topic with Eve, I guess. Yeah, in
No,
future.
no. So
Okay. Yeah.
to finish the conversation, Leonardo said, "Yeah, I was Team Andrew Kelly not to use AI, but now I feel AI is a great tool, but cannot just use loops." Where do you see industry moving with AI? For now, I get constantly reinforced information that AI is just a tool. People have this weird delusion and vision that, oh, I'm vibe coding. It's so easy. And then they destroy their PC, and then they remove the repository, and then they make a lot of damage and generate a lot of costs. So if you would ask me to finish up your apartment and like build your apartment. You would give me the best tools ever. I would still find a way to mess it up somehow. And this is the same way with everyone else. This is a great tool, but let's remember what Uncle Ben said. With great tools comes great responsibility. And I keep reminding myself that every time AI proves that you don't only have to, have fingers and be able to type. You actually need some like software engineering knowledge to work with those tools. That there are actually a lot of comments. Let's get back to the comments once we maybe prove and show that everything works, and then we can leave some space for nice discussions, because I really like where the comment section is going. But
Awesome.
yeah, back to the presentation.
So you can see that it is deployed. Now we need to connect Vercel and all. Oh, sorry, Slack. I would stop sharing and I would reshare.
Okay. So I'm gonna put us on the main screen.
Okay, this should be the window. I believe you're good. Right, so there's the new screen sharing. You could add it here.
Okay, 1 second. Going back here and presenting. Okay.
Right, so we have this tech news agent now connected and on Vercel, but now we need to connect it to Slack so that it works. Right, so I would create a connector. Maybe I believe we could also do it from CLI. Right, I don't know. Let's just follow this to another Slack workspace.
You know what? For a second, I'm going to remove the sharing screen, because it looks like you went into some authorization areas.
Yeah. Let's just do that.
Better be safe than sorry. Although this workspace is like, we will be removing that.
Okay, so you can add me back.
Okay, putting you back on the screen.
So we have this temporary live stream dev news workspace that I have. Just gonna go to continue, brief description. Let's say Max your news agent. I'm not attaching any image. Let's just go ahead, create connector. Right, it is connected. Okay.
So in theory, it should work, right?
I believe there would be an error because there are these values that we need to
some tokens
add to the environment variable, but I guess it would fail. So, all right, let's just first add it to the reinstall manage. It should be in the workspace. Let me quickly check my workspace if it is now here. It now I would need to add it, I believe. Oh yeah, we have it now. So Max, right. It will not work right now because we need to create a channel. Let me do it.
Okay.
Do we want to show it, creating a channel? Or...
I mean, I think people use Slack.
Okay, so yeah, people can figure this out. Right. What is wrong with me? I keep forgetting what I was supposed to do next.
After an entire day of work, we jumped into 2 hours of streaming. That's what's up
yeah.
with you. Like I know we're having fun, but don't forget that is actually kind of tiring.
And especially it's like very late for me.
Oh yeah, because it's much later for you. That's an important thing.
Okay, so we need to add environment variables now, and then we would redeploy.
So I'm gonna hide your screen. So feel free and comfortable to set it up, and to in the meanwhile, I'm gonna go through some of the comments so you can focus on just setting up everything. The Code Critical said, at this point, I feel that we are throwing everything at the wall and see what sticks. Yeah, Exactly. That's how we are just testing. As I said before, people used to say, "Yeah, think outside of the box." We don't know the dimensions of the box yet. We don't know the capabilities of AI, the full capabilities at least. And if we would know a situation like the one recently, where a model that was being evaluated escaped the sandbox, this wouldn't happen. But we don't know the dimensions of the box, so yeah, we're just throwing and seeing what sticks. To the question above, with where the industry moving with AI, Kwan says there is a conference happening now, Chain React. Some of the keynotes share about their views on this topic can tune in. It's today and tomorrow. Very soon we'll be having also our own conference, our CallStacks conference, Agent Conf. So worth tuning into that as well. Next, I see AI as a really good dev body. The future is definitely developers plus AI, not developers versus AI. Full transparency here. I am still unable to write to any AI agent without saying hi and saying thank you and saying, please help me with this and that. Unable to do that. I mean, I know it maybe not, it's not fully healthy, but yeah, these are just tools. They are just helpers. Imagine if I bet every one of you, Kor, I bet you as well had a situation where a non-technical person asked you for help and you tried to help that person. And at the end, you were like, God damn it, just learn some basics. And in this situation, AI is the advanced technological person, and we might be those, inexperienced and non-technical person. So yeah, AI enhances your capabilities and provides you with faster iterations and nice new workflows, but it will not replace your knowledge. At some point, AI is going to ask you some questions like, would you like to have it locally hosted or deployed somewhere? And if you don't even know what a deployed means, that's block for you. That's it. So yeah, unless people will actually start turning into engineers, but that's a separate topic.
Kevin,
Yes.
do you want to continue or we can show it?
Yeah, let's show. Are you sharing the Slack now? Because my plan was to actually set the cron at, let's say, 1850, open up Slack and see the bot right on Slack.
The thing is that first you need to send, I think, a manual trigger, and after that the cron will activate. So we can,
okay.
Yeah, we can do that, but we will need to redeploy. But let's just see
Okay.
how
So
far we can go.
Can I put yours back on the screen?
Yes, just you can share this one so that I can.
Okay.
So this is the so when you go to the project settings, you could go to the environment variables, and then select production. We are non-production. You would add 3 environment variables. So that these are the 3 ones that we have defined in our Eve agent. So it needs these one because it would read them as process.env. The name of the variable. So I just added these now. This select digest channel ID is basically the channel ID that the Eve or this tech news agent would be integrated to. So the trigger would be sent to this channel. Okay. I believe we are good. Let's see if we have the cron. So we have the cron here. If I run it, I should get it. Let's just I will just stop sharing, and then I would
Okay.
wait, I redeploy. No problem.
Quick answer to Leonardo. That's StreamYard.
Okay, so for the reference, it's just redeploying now. Once it's redeployed, I will then flag.
You muted yourself.
Sorry. Okay. Open Slack. Put it in this kind of format. Okay. Right. Let's just I will re-share. I might need to share my whole window for this time. So, but let's do that. Okay.
Okay, should I share the screen?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Okay, so this is the temporary workspace that we created and the channel that I just created now. I added the channel ID to the environment variable, did the redeploy,
Mhm.
added the dev news digest agent to this channel, and now I would like to send a cron manually just to see if it would work. Okay, let's see. Awesome.
Nice.
It
Okay.
worked the first
So
go. I
this
did.
so this created a thread, and
Yeah,
now
so
it's working on adding more data to the thread.
that's true. So this is the card, as we said there. So the initial message that gets sent in, and individually we would get two message per section. So if you have 8 repositories, for example, you would get 8 message in the thread, for example. And I think in shortly we will get it. We can also see how much time it is being spent. And so I'm not sure if on the free one we can observe it, but on the paid one we can do that. So we go to agent runs, and this is the latest one that we have here,
Mhm.
right? And by latest you mean the um, prompt. It is the prompt name, so don't confuse it with the. So it is being sent. We have the 2 replies here. We can see, right? So
Nice.
and then the 6
That's
one.
amazing. I think that's actually one of the first actual semi-products that we
Yeah,
managed to deliver on the stream. Hur, amazing work, and
yeah.
right on the time, because we are slowly rolling into the like wrapping up the stream.
Just to,
So
just to just to share a few words here. So if you go to the details here, you will see like how many tokens you burnt. Like 64,000 were input, there were 40,000 in cache read, and so on and so forth. So you could see like,
mhm.
okay, what happened here, and then you could also see some logs by going in there. You could see your sandbox. I need to upgrade, but so this is our sandbox, and it is like you could just go in and do things with your sandbox if your plan allows you to do it. So yeah, that is it. And technically you could also like go inside your sandbox if I recall. I Yeah, so you have the terminal. You could try to like SSH
Mm.
in with this, and let's say you want to do something with your sandbox. So these are the
Oh,
observable.
actually,
Yeah,
in theory, you could drag and drop some data into the sandbox and make your agent pick it up to change, for instance, what repositories is gonna use.
yeah,
Like you can
I
program
don't think
basically.
that I don't think that. Yeah, well, you can do it, but I don't know if that's how it's supposed to work, because the skills that you write, they get, of course, added to the sandbox under some name, like skills root slash skills slash your the ones that you define, the tools that you define. But yeah, technically, I think you could do it, but I don't know if it would work.
Yeah, you could, in the tool call, you can just do context get and retrieve everything from the sandbox. So I just like finding ways to avoid setting up databases and API calls
Yeah,
and huge infrastructure just to have one agent. But this is actually amazing stuff, Hor, really. Like in a matter of 2 hours. I know you had snippets, but let's be honest, without snippets, you'll be able to set it up as well. You made a working bot that actually summarizes real life GitHub repository and sends the summary to the Slack channel, which is an actual Slack channel. And we created, Hur did 99% of the work for this stream. So huge round of applause. I'm just quickly checking if I got I didn't add workspace on my phone. I have it on the web. So, but it does work. We will share this repository via some either call stack, X channels, or things like that. I'm actually a bit speechless because I feel like this was a perfect stream. A lot of knowledge shared, a lot of discussions being had. I feel like everyone learned at least a bit, and most importantly, Khur delivered 110% because I saw in your eyes that you were not actually planning on running the bot and connecting it to Slack, right?
I was having it as a option, so yeah, because these things often fails, when you are doing it for the
Yeah.
first time. But I guess it worked. I guess was a lucky day today. I would just say that.
Yeah, that's a really great job. Quick round of responding to comments. Thank God someone said it. Man, people expect AI will do create apps in single day. That's true. That's true. People expect that. I think AI does what you tell it, but for a good app, you need to give very detailed instruction, and coding is giving detailed instructions. Seen it multiple times in my career. Great developers under not so great management. Not so great in terms of people who are not crystal clear on what they want to achieve, and because of that, they give diluted commands, diluted requests, feature requests, plans, and at the end of the day, the app is not what it could be. So yeah, what software are you using for live streaming? As I previously said, StreamYard will be dropping off, but amazing work for you, Hur. Callstack and Software Mention are carrying React Native. We will be also carrying LLMs and agentic development. Kevin, you are so nice. You'll be first human to be given immunity when machines rise. Well, I'm trying to. Usually, people say that I'm a D, but I'm trying to be nice. I'm just usually too straightforward. Dropping off, fellas. It's really late in Malaysia now. Thanks for streaming and sharing. Thank you for participating. It was a lot of fun. So ambitious. Round of applause for Hur. Code Critical. Round of applause for Hur. It was a really nice session, Hur and Kevin. I'm a fan of the word autonomously from today. Oh, when you write it and I read it, I'm able to say it out loud. Autonomously. Yes. Okay. Nice. Wow. Damn. I'm actually a little bit speechless. That was a great stream, great session.
Yeah, to be honest, like from the audience perspective, this was a very good audience. Like they were constantly giving their inputs, being attentive, and you love giving sessions with these kind of audience. Amazing.
Yeah, that's true. That was also one of the most debated and discussed live streams. So also to y'all watching and listening, great job participating, because I feel like nowadays participating in something is also really hard with so many distractions all over the place. I feel like even for me, actively listening to something and asking questions, it's not an easy job. So listeners, viewers, chat, as the people say, great job as well. So round of applause for you as well. And I think that will be slowly wrapping up the stream because for Hur it's extremely late. For me it's only semi late. So let me turn on a small, chill, vibey lo-fi in the background, which I always do, for a quick summary before wrapping up. So, first of all, of course, Hur, thank you so much. Not only for what you presented, also for our calls before the stream to prepare everything. You put a lot of work into that, a lot of forethought. It's really appreciated. I feel like people appreciated that as well. And overall, amazing, great job. I will be extremely pleased and honored to have you as a guest in the future as well. if you'll be able to, survive late hours. Also, to a lot of commenters, Kwan, thank you. Ryan, thank you. So Habitious, Camo, Leonardo, Ty. I don't want to miss anyone. The Code Critical, of course, as well. And yeah, that's all. So yeah, one last round of applause for Hur. Great job. Usually when I watch or see streams or podcasts, at the end there's like, Hur, would you like to plug something? What you've been working on? Like, share your socials and stuff like that. Or just simply you can say that you had a blast and see you next time.
I would just say that I had a blast and see you next time.
It was a very safe approach. So yeah, thank you everyone. That was a great session. See you in 2 weeks, because in 2 weeks we will be talking about Apex. And Apex is an LLM that was behind Eve today. So it will be also a lot of great insights, but we'll be, of course, as always, updating you on all of the socials, all of the X's, Instagrams? Do we use Instagram?
But there is no promotion on Instagram for this kind of...
Yeah. Of course, check out our OnlyFans and... No, I'm joking. Mainly the X. But with that being said, one last time, thank you all. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. Get some rest. And see y'all in 2 weeks. Bye. And now we're switching to this, and bye.